Hey YouTube, Israel here with another knife review for all of you knife enthusiasts and collectors and users. Today I have a knife from SOG. This is the Twitch II. There are many different models of the Twitch. There is the Twitch I, the Twitch II. There is also a Tonto point version, and there are versions with different types of handle. Okay, this officially is the Twitch II with a drop point style blade. I originally thought this was the Twitch XL because the Twitch II is longer in blade length than the Twitch I, but this is just the Twitch II, and the blade length on this is 2.7 inches in blade length, and you can see it is a full flat ground drop point style blade with a satin finish, a very nice satin finish, right? And the price tag on the Twitch II, it was $44, and you might be saying, wow, for such a small knife. Actually, in the world of folding knives, the size of the knife doesn't really have much to do with the price. Okay, for example, there's small custom knives that are, hundreds of dollars. Okay, so it's not really determined by the size of the knife, but by the workmanship, reputation of the company. Now the blade itself is AUS 8 steel. That's a Japanese stainless steel, and it's a very nice steel. It's the same steel that the Cold Steel Recon 1 is made out of, right? And for a moderate priced knife, that is a good steel. I like that steel. Right, and now the handles on this, the handle scales, are aluminum. All right, and that color, they're calling it graphite, which is basically it's gray. I really like the color of the handle scales on this because it just reminds me of a lot more expensive titanium scale folders. So very nice. See, it has a lanyard hole right there, small lanyard hole. And here's the clip. It comes equipped for right side tip up carry, and it appears that it can be switched to left side. I see the screws right there on either side of the lanyard hole. The deployment is via this index flipper. The flipper does even have a little bit of jimping on the top of the flipper. Deployment, very smooth and very easy deployment. Very simple, very convenient. The locking mechanism, you see it's closed construction, and it is a lockback. To release the blade, press down on that button with jimping right there, and that releases the blade. And it's very interesting to see a flipper opener combined with a lockback locking mechanism. You don't usually see that. It does have a safety. It's a slotted button or switch right there, and basically if you push the switch up, okay, it can no longer deploy, and that's just for people that are afraid it might deploy in their pocket. All right, because it isn't assisted, which means if you push it a little ways, a spring takes over and opens the knife the rest of the way. All right, so very cool knife. But I can say it's very well made. The opening is very smooth. There is no blade play whatsoever. It's very solid because a lot of the partial tang of that knife is in contact with the frame, which means it's basically very solid. There's no blade play whatsoever. And the metal handles, it's very slim, but the metal handles and the lockback design, it just feels like a quality made knife. The initial sharpness of the blade is razor sharp out of the box. All right, and the flat grind, you could just do a lot of cutting for such a small blade. All right, now the one thing though, the alignment of the blade, I don't know if you can see, but the alignment is actually very poor. It's basically, it's all the way over to this side, touching the frame. Okay, now that doesn't matter too much to me for a small utility knife, but I just want to mention that because some people, it really drives them crazy if the knife is not aligned. Okay, so that's the only hit, the alignment. Now let me give you a size comparison with some other small knives that I have. All right, this is the Buck Nobleman frame lock, another very highly recommended small knife. Okay, and I usually don't specialize in smaller folders, but I do have a few, and let's just look at the two knives. All right, so you see, that is the Buck Nobleman size comparison with the Twitch II. Very good small knives. Both very good. All right, now let me compare it to another small knife I have. This is the Columbia River Knife and Tool Ken Onion Ripple frame lock. And I will do a review of this knife too eventually, but for now, let's just look at the two knives next to each other. You see the Ripple is actually a little bit longer than the Twitch II, just a little bit longer. And this is a small knife itself, so the Twitch II, it's a pretty small knife. All right, 2.7 inches in blade length. All right, so overall, I would actually highly recommend the SOG Twitch II. The best points of it are it's razor sharp, the full flat grind. It looks just very nice. The color and the satin finish. It's very solid, no blade play whatsoever. Great lockup. Deployment, it couldn't be faster or easier than it is. Right, so this would be a smaller EDC knife for people who work somewhere that they just can't have a bigger one. I knew a guy who was a computer tech at a hospital, and he just could not, whip out a big knife. It would just scare all the patients. Okay, so for people like that who have a requirement for a smaller knife, less than 3 inches, as a utility knife, this would be a perfect smaller EDC. Slim, well made. The weight on this, a mere 2.6 ounces, and the price, $44. I would say that's a moderate price for what you're getting. I'd say it's actually worth that price. Okay, so the SOG Twitch II, highly recommended if you need small EDC. And this has been Israel. Stay tuned for many more knife reviews, and thank you all for watching. Peace out, dudes.